Hello everyone, welcome back to LitLake. In this video, we are going to discuss the writing and effective literature review. I hope you have been watching and exploring more videos on literature reviews in connection to your current research work. If you still have doubts and need clarification, feel free to continue watching. This video is for you. Here, let us move on to why literature review is so important. A literature review is a critical analysis and synthesis of existing research. Also, it is a systematically reviewing and evaluating a wide range of sources such as academic articles, books, dissertations, and other scholarly materials to provide a comprehensive understanding of the current state of knowledge in a particular field. Let us move on to the purpose of a literature review. In this discussion, we are going to discuss the best practices for writing literature reviews, including how to structure the review, organize information, and integrate findings from multiple sources, providing examples of well-written literature reviews and highlight common pitfalls to avoid. Here, let's move on to the establishing context. Literature reviews provide the researchers the necessary background and context for research projects by summarizing existing knowledge, theories, and finding relevant to the topic. Also, the literature review helps the researcher understand the current state of knowledge in their field and identify gaps or areas for further investigation. Number 2, informing research questions and objectives. By reviewing existing literature, researchers can refine their research questions. If they have the questions already, based on the literature review, they can revise, they can refine their research questions, the objectives, and the hypothesis based on what has already been studied and what remains unknown or controversial in the field. So, the literature review informs the researchers about the controversial topics in the field or what has been studied already, etc. Now, let's move on to the guiding research design and methodology. Guiding research design, which connects with the literature reviews, it informs the decisions about research design methodology and data collection techniques. Also, helps the researchers identify appropriate research methods, theoretical frameworks, and analytical approaches based on previous studies and methodologies used in the field. Coming to the identifying gaps and research opportunities, this is very important part while doing the literature reviews, which helps the researchers identify gaps or areas of underexplored research within their field. Also, by identifying these gaps, researchers can propose a new research questions, hypotheses, or approaches to address unanswered questions and contribute to the advancement of knowledge. Coming to supporting argumentation and avoiding redundancy and duplication. Literature reviews help researchers avoid redundancy and duplication by identifying existing studies and findings related to their topic or a topic of interest. This ensures that the researchers build up upon previous work rather than duplicating efforts or reinventing the wheel. That's all about the purpose of a literature review. Let's move on to the steps to be followed while doing a literature review. Coming to the first step, when you start doing your literature review, you go with define the scope. Clearly define the scope of your literature review by identifying the specific research question, topic, or area of interest you will be exploring. This will help you focus your search and ensure that you gather relevant information. So, define your scope and move on to develop the search strategies. Develop effective search strategies to identify relevant literature By utilizing the academic databases, library catalogs, and other resources to search for scholarly articles, books, conference papers, and other relevant materials. So this is the important part while doing the literature review. You must work on the search strategies. Moving on to select and evaluate sources. When you collect all those sources from the search strategies, like through the articles or books or conference papers, so when you have collected all the sources, you must evaluate it. Select sources that are relevant, credible, and authoritative. This is what the very important factor. After collecting the sources, you must focus on the relevance, credibility, and the authoritative. Evaluate each source based on criteria such as the author's expertise, the credibility of the publication venue, the currency of the information, and the relevance to your research question. Coming to read and summarize. Read each selected source carefully and summarize its key findings, arguments, and methodologies. Reading all the sources are very, very important, of course. Take detailed notes including biographic information, main points, and relevant quotations. These are all the important parts which you have to connect with the literature review. Organize your notes based on key themes or topics. It is up to you decide whether you have to work on based on the key themes or the topics to facilitate analysis or synthesis. Coming to analyze or synthesize. Analyze and synthesize the findings from the literature to identify common themes, trends, and patterns. Compare and contrast different perspectives, methodologies, and theoretical frameworks. This is very important while doing the literature review. You must identify the gaps or areas for further investigation within the literature. So after analyzing and synthesizing the work, you have to move on to organizing and structuring the entire materials. Organize the literature review into a coherent structure that guides the reader through the key themes and findings. You must consider organizing the literature chronologically, either thematically or by methodologically. It depends the researcher, depending on the nature of your research question. If your question is based on the chronological order, you must go with that one, or if it is based on the thematic procedures, that you can move on to thematical structuring, organizing the framework. So based on the nature of your research question and the patterns identified in the literature. This is what organizing and structuring your literature review. Let us move on to the write and revise. Write the literature review, ensuring that it provides a critical analysis and synthesis of existing literature. Also include an introduction that outlines the scope and purpose of the review, a body that discusses the key themes and findings, and a conclusion that summarizes the main findings. These are all the important points you have to consolidate the entire review. Also, you must focus on the revision. Revise the literature review as needed to ensure clarity, coherence, and accuracy. Moving on to cite and reference. Cite sources accurately and consistently using the appropriate citation style. I hope you all know about APA and MLA style. Create a bibliography or reference list that includes all sources cited in the literature review. This will make you to feel easy while revising all the sources. When you start writing your chapters, seeking feedbacks. This is more important. Seek feedback from peers, colleagues, or your research supervisors or advisors to ensure the rigor and quality of your literature review. Also considering presenting your literature review to peer review group or discussing it with a mentor to solicit constructive feedback and suggestions for your improvement. Coming to update and maintain. This is very, very important in all the disciplines. Update and maintain your literature review regularly to incorporate new research findings, address emerging trends, and refine your analysis. Keep track of new publications and sources related to your research topic to ensure that your literature review remains current and comprehensive. Overall, The literature reviews plays a foundational role in research projects across various disciplines, providing researchers with a solid foundation of knowledge, informing the development of their own research studies, and contributing to the ongoing scholarly dialogue in their field. I hope now you could have some idea about what is literature review and what are the steps to be followed while doing the literature review. Finally, in essence, a literature review serves as a foundation for the research project by providing context, establishing the theoretical framework, identifying the gaps or areas for further investigation, and informing research design and methodology. Finally, by following these steps, scholars can conduct a thorough and systematic literature review that informs their research, demonstrate their scholarly expertise, and contributes to the advancement of knowledge in their field. Thank you all for joining with Lit League, and meet you soon in the second part of writing literature reviews. Thank you for listening.